By now, you've likely weighed in on the debate over whether comedian Aziz Ansari took advantage of a woman in his apartment or the woman just had a bad sexual experience. Regardless of whose position you take, there's another issue front and center: how the media handled it. First of all, you're not alone if you've never heard of Babe.net. That's where a story about a woman's date with Aziz Ansari was published, sparking a furious debate.
Another Hollywood celebrity is being accused.
But whoa, hold on there. Yes, he was accused by an unnamed woman with a long saga about going on a date and having a sexual encounter with Ansari at his apartment. But Babe.net only told one side of the story. And instantly, Ansari was swept into the vortex of predatory men.
But now he's among a growing list of men facing allegations of sexual misconduct.
But there was plenty of pushback. A Washington Post op-ed called it a story about a date that went badly. The Atlantic went so far as to call the accuser's account revenge porn, and many agreed it shouldn't be conflated with other assault cases.
Much of the media world seems to agree the story told by the woman who calls herself Grace does not rise to the level of Harvey Weinstein-type misconduct.
But the author of the Babe.net story insists the narrative was very real.
She was not interested in having sexual intercourse with Ansari, and he continued to press her.
HLN's Ashley Banfield wasn't buying the accuser's story at all.
You went to the press with the story of a bad date, and you have potentially destroyed this man's career over it.
To call Babe.net the press is a bit of a stretch. Still, here's how the author responded to Banfield's criticism, dismissing her as old, with burgundy lipstick, bad highlights, and a has-been feminist. We hear Donald Trump is looking for a new writer. First of all, I have to say there's a lot of immaturity all around here. And secondly, I'm shocked that there was that much interest in this account about Aziz Ansari. I was just stunned that it would go from this relatively obscure website, Babe.net, into the mainstream so quickly. And it is because of the Me Too. If it had just been an accusation, I think most people would have read it as a date gone badly, very badly, by the way. It was gross. But I don't think it would have been picked up in this way. And there's an uncomfortable edge to that.
You know, it tapped into a conversation that people are having about consent and the nature of consent and the power imbalance and the power dynamics. And you know, if Harvey Weinstein is sort of one end of that, where there's a clear power imbalance, and there's there are no shades of gray in what happened in these Harvey Weinstein stories, the Aziz Ansari story is on the opposite end of that spectrum, where there are plenty of shades of gray and there's plenty of disagreement, many of which falls, interestingly, along generational divides about whether there was consent, whether the woman involved was able to extricate herself from the situation, whether it was sort of a disservice to Aziz Ansari that the story got out there. I mean, I will say, if the Harvey Weinstein story and the New York Times treatment of it was kind of the gold standard of how you report this, with, you know, depth of reporting and much corroboration and plenty of opportunity for the other side to press back, this was also the opposite. Yes. I mean, this was the thinnest and slimmest. This was one person. What did Aziz Ansari had like 6 hours before it was published to even say anything. I mean, this was the opposite of responsible journalism.
I just note that on CBS this week, Ryan Farrow made a point in coming back to her story against her father, her stepfather, Dylan Farrow, I'm sorry, by saying, we have to get to the point in the Me Too movement of understanding it does not have to be 1,500 women saying one guy did this. That one woman's story can be valid, and I am here to say that. Now, she has a completely different set of circumstances, but I want to put that on the table. Let's go back to the immaturity that you mentioned in terms of reporting. There's a couple of lines in there that if they had just been extracted, I wonder if even this one thin account by this one woman could have been taken in a different way. By the way, I believe this is important to have this discussion, and this story should be out there, and I'm on the opposite side from other people. I think there's a spectrum of stuff, and everybody doesn't have to be Harvey Weinstein. It's a lot of bad stuff going on there that needs to be accounted for. But the line in the piece about I wanted red wine or he wanted white. I thought, no. Do not distract me from that. Somebody needed to edit that to understand that people reading this will say, what is this?
Well, no, because she was saying everything he did,
I
he was
know
in
what she was
control,
saying. I'm saying, but in the same way, don't answer Ashley Banfield by, you got bad lipstick on and you're a bad feminist or whatever they said. That's immature, and that does not help having the discussion. So that's all I'm saying.
She also gave away the punchline in the second paragraph. She didn't build to the. So I wanted to edit that thing. Trust me.
Yeah.
By the way, that was a terrible response to Ashley Banfield, and I think it casts this in a light that we have to think about here. I'm not going to try to mansplain anything. I think that we have to be careful not to do that. What did strike me is that this just seems to be enough about a creepy bad date as opposed to sexual assault, that I think that it might have been more valuable to have this discussion without naming Aziz Ansari. But then I wonder, no, it wouldn't have been a story and nobody would be talking about it. So that's the hook, and yet at the same time, there just doesn't seem to be enough there to ruin him over this.
I just have to say, what you're describing as a creepy bad date, I want to translate that into office conduct where people are saying words to you every day. They didn't pull out their stuff and start doing stuff. They didn't make you do anything. I'm just saying. But it's still an assault. I'm sorry, it is. And just because nobody's touched you, but they're saying stuff, it falls on a spectrum. So it's important to have the conversation about the spectrum, and I think it did that. I would agree with you that the presentation of it could have been better to bring more people in to understand where she was coming from. That's what
it was unsophisticated.
Yeah. Okay.
This whole thing. First of all, I don't think Ansari's career is going to take much of it at all. This is a blip in the speed bump, and it might have helped him a bit there, which is unfortunate. I think it is kind of creepy. I'd hate to go on a date with Aziz Ansari if I'd been in that situation now. But what I do find interesting is the point that you raised already, Emily. For something to go from a website that probably, I don't know how many hits they get. They claim a lot on Facebook. But its audience is from 18 to 22-year-old girls or women at that age, and that's it. For it to go from there to getting a response from CNN and from NBC and from serious commentary, I think that is astonishing. And that perhaps is, to me, the part that it's frightening.
It's a feeding frenzy.
That's right. Yeah, that's when.
What
about
not
really
naming
know
her?
that
By the way, should they have named her, or that would have been?
No, I don't think they should have named her either. Actually, it should never have gotten beyond a website that is for 18 to 20-year-old girls.
I agree with that.